It was a quiet morning in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traoré was in his office reviewing important documents on local policy progress when his assistant Marie hurried into the room. "Mr. President," she said, visibly nervous, "you need to see this now." Traoré looked up from the report he was reading, intrigued by the unusual tone of urgency in Marie's voice. "What happened?" Marie handed him a tablet with a live broadcast of a press conference in the United States. Barack Obama, former US president, was on stage talking about global leadership and the changes the world needed to face. But what caught Traoré's attention was something completely unexpected. Obama had mentioned Burkina Faso directly. "Burkina Faso," said Obama, his voice echoing through the packed auditorium, "is a powerful example of how small nations can lead big transformations. Under the leadership of Ibrahim Traoré, the country is proving that self-reliance and dignity are not just ideals, but achievable realities." Traoré felt his heart stop for a moment. He didn't expect to hear his name coming out of Barack Obama's mouth, much less in such a positive context. He continued watching the broadcast, trying to process the words that echoed through the room. "Traoré has rejected traditional models of foreign aid," Obama continued, "and is building a future based on mutual respect and trust in the potential of his own people. That is true leadership." The room where Obama was speaking erupted in warm applause, while images of projects led by Traoré appeared on screens behind the former American president. Photos of farmers working on reclaimed land, children learning in newly built schools, and young scientists developing technological solutions to local problems were displayed for international audiences. Traoré slowly lowered the tablet, still dazed. I didn't expect that," he muttered, shaking his head in disbelief. Marie smiled, excited. "Mr. President, this is incredible. The entire world is seeing the impact of your work." But Traoré remained silent for a few moments, reflecting on the weight of those words. He knew that statement wasn't just about him. It was about all the people of Burkina Faso who were fighting every day to build a better future. "Marie," he said finally, "we need to respond to this, but not with pride or ego, with gratitude and humility." Marie nodded, already starting to organize the next steps. She knew that this would be a crucial moment for the president and the country. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Obama concluded his speech with a direct message to Traoré. "Ibrahim," he said, looking directly into the cameras, "if you are watching, know that your courage is inspiring many of us. Keep showing the world that Africa does not need to be saved. It needs to be respected." Obama's statement quickly went viral on social media, sparking intense debates about sovereignty, self-sufficiency, and Africa's role on the global stage. Hashtags such as "Respect for Africa" and "Leadership with Dignity" began to circulate widely, highlighting the importance of public policies centered on local communities. Back in Burkina Faso, Traoré continued to absorb Obama's words. He knew this was more than just a tribute. It was a global recognition of the path that Burkina Faso was taking. "Marie," he said after a few minutes of reflection, "prepare a press conference for tomorrow. We need to show the world that these policies are not just about me, they are about our people." Marie nodded, already starting to organize the details. She knew that this would be a crucial moment for the president and the country. The day after Barack Obama's statement, Ibrahim Traoré called a press conference at the presidential palace to respond to the global recognition that Burkina Faso had received. The room was packed with local and international journalists, all eager to hear how the president would react to the former American president's words. Traoré took to the stage wearing traditional Burkinabe clothing, a clear symbol of his connection to the country's cultural roots. He began his speech calmly, but firmly. "Yesterday," he said, looking directly at the audience, "Mr. Barack Obama made comments about our country that left me speechless." The room was completely silent, everyone hanging on his words. "I didn't expect to hear my name coming out of the mouth of someone as respected as him," Traoré continued, "but what touched me most was not the praise given to me. It was the recognition of the work of our people." He then announced an innovative initiative that would expand efforts already underway, the Sovereign Future Program. The aim was to empower local communities to develop sustainable solutions to their own problems without relying on foreign interventions. "This program," said Traoré, "is not just about politics. It is about proving that we can take care of ourselves. And most importantly, it is about showing the world that Africa does not need to be saved. It needs to be respected." The statement was met with enthusiastic applause by many present, especially local journalists. However, some international correspondents appeared skeptical, questioning the project's viability. "Mr. President," asked a French reporter, "how does Burkina Faso plan to implement these initiatives without external resources? Isn't it too risky?" Traoré smiled before responding. "Everything we do involves risk," he said, "but the biggest risk would be accepting help that would compromise our dignity. We are betting on the potential of our people, and I know they will not disappoint us." The response was widely publicized on social media, generating intense debates about sovereignty and sustainable development. Hashtags such as Respect for Africa and Leadership with Dignity began to circulate widely, highlighting the importance of public policies centered on local communities. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Traoré's team was already working to implement the plan. The Minister of Agriculture organized meetings with community leaders to identify areas most in need, while Marie, the social worker who coordinated the efforts, visited villages to listen to farmers' demands. "This is going to change everything," said an elderly farmer during one such visit. "Finally, we will have the chance to farm our own land and feed our families." Marie smiled, moved by people's reactions. She knew that this was more than a political project. It was an opportunity to transform lives. Barack Obama's statement about Ibrahim Traoré quickly gained international repercussions. His message of respect and recognition of Burkina Faso's self-sufficiency resonated with global leaders, social movements, and even ordinary citizens. The image of an African country leading its own transformation without relying on foreign aid has inspired debate about how other nations could follow suit. In the United States, reaction to Obama's speech was mixed. While some supporters of the former president praised his words as a way to highlight positive examples of global leadership, others criticized the idea that African countries could prosper without foreign intervention. During a live interview, a political commentator expressed his admiration for the Burkinabe president. "Traoré is showing something that many of us have forgotten," said the analyst. "That leadership is not about imposing solutions, but about empowering people to find their own, Meanwhile, in Africa, Traoré's stance was widely celebrated. Leaders from other countries began to adopt similar initiatives, adapting them to their local realities. In Nigeria, for example, a group of young people launched a campaign called Value Your People, raising funds to help rural communities develop sustainable projects. Back in Burkina Faso, Traoré continued to receive reports on the progress of the Sovereign Future program. In a small rural village, he met a woman named Fatou who had benefited from the initiative. She was teaching carpentry to other women in the area. "Before, I could barely feed my children," she said during an interview with a local broadcaster. "Now I'm helping other women build a better future. It's all thanks to President Traoré." The scene was widely publicized on social media, further reinforcing Traoré's image as a visionary leader. Hashtags such as "Respect for Africa" and "Leadership with Dignity" began to circulate widely, highlighting the importance of public policies that prioritize local communities. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Traoré's team was hard at work expanding. The Minister of Agriculture organized partnerships with local universities to provide technical training to farmers, while Marie coordinated efforts to ensure that families had access to basic resources such as water and electricity. "We're just getting started," Traoré said during a meeting with his team. "But we can already see the first signs of change. And this change is not just economic, it is social, cultural, and above all, human." Observing the scene, a journalist wrote in his notebook, "Today in Burkina Faso, I saw the future of an Africa that values its history, honors its heroes, and builds bridges of dignity for all." Fatou walked slowly towards the Innovation Center, his heart filled with conflicting emotions. She had traveled hours from Bobo Dioulasso, carrying with her not only her suitcase, but also the memories of her mother, Marie, who always dreamed of seeing her daughter achieve something greater. Upon arriving, she found a scene she had never imagined. A crowd gathered to celebrate the advances of the Futuro Soberano program. Marie was there, just as Traoré had described, tears streaming down her face as she coordinated the final details of the ceremony. Malik, the boy who had once fought a fever in a makeshift hospital, now wore a new sweater and smiled beside her, holding a board with photos of local initiatives. Ibrahim Traoré took the stage. Visibly moved to see Fatou enter the venue, he walked over to her, extending his hand gently. "Welcome," he said, his voice cracking with emotion. "You are living proof that we are building something bigger than ourselves." Fatou nodded, trying to hold back the tears. "My mother always believed this day would come," she said, holding an old book that had belonged to her mother. Inside it, a simple sentence was written: "Knowledge is the greatest inheritance we can leave." Traoré smiled, deeply touched by the message. He knew this was more than just a memory. It was a reminder that every act of kindness could create big changes. During the official speech, Traoré spoke directly to the hearts of everyone present. "Today," he began, his voice echoing through the packed auditorium, "we are not here just to celebrate numbers or public policies. We are here to honor those who built this country with their hands and minds. You are the true pillars of Burkina Faso." He then addressed Barack Obama directly, even though he knew the former American president was not present. "Mr. Obama," he said, looking directly into the cameras, Your statement left me speechless, but I want you to know that your words were not just about me. They were about all the people of Burkina Faso who are fighting every day to build a better future. The audience applauded warmly as images of flourishing farmers, children studying in renovated schools, and young scientists developing innovative solutions were projected on the screen. Fatou was invited on stage to speak. She hesitated for a moment before finding the courage. My mother always taught me that we should fight for our dreams, she said, holding her mother's book. And today, thanks to this center, I know I can achieve hers too. I want to use what I learned to help my people grow more food and take better care of the land. The crowd erupted in applause, and Traoré hugged Fatou affectionately. He knew that this was the true measure of the project's success, inspiring the next generations to value their land and their future. Observing the scene, a journalist wrote in his notebook, "Today in Burkina Faso, I saw the future of an Africa that values its history, honors its heroes, and builds bridges of dignity for all." Meanwhile, in the United States, Obama watched the live broadcast with growing admiration. During a live interview, he was asked again about Traoré. "This guy is something special," Obama admitted, surprising the audience. "He is proving that genuine leadership involves listening to your people and acting with humility." Obama's statement was widely publicized, further reinforcing the message that gestures of kindness and genuine leadership can unite people from different parts of the world. Back in Burkina Faso, Traoré continued his mission of transformation. During a visit to a small rural village, he met a child named Mamadou, who had received school uniforms and supplies thanks to resources generated by land reform. "Mr. President," she said, her voice shaking with emotion, "this is for you. I wanted to show you that we are using what we have been given to learn." Traoré smiled, deeply touched. "You don't just owe it to us, Mamadou. You're proving that when we give people the right tools, they can conquer the world."